isn't it? I love the smell of the fresh grass and that.
Hello there and welcome to Beechgrove Garden.
Hello.
I suppose before we should go any further, we ought to release one of our secrets, shouldn't we? Because we've got huge areas of shadow on the lawn.
Yes, we should really reveal this tower, which we don't normally show. And there's a reason for that, isn't there?
Well, of course, it's an 80-foot radio mast. It's got to be here because this is a broadcasting station.
That's true, yes.
Hasn't it? But over all these years, because this is a momentous occasion for us, isn't it?
Yes, this is our 10th anniversary. I don't know what that is, do you?
No, I don't. I've never even thought to think about it. But over all that time, we've always managed to dodge the old mast and its shadow.
Yes, that's true. Usually the cameramen are underneath it, aren't they?
That's right, yes. Now, it's momentous in another sense as well, isn't it?
Well, this year is a very big year for Glasgow. It's the Glasgow Garden Festival, and we're going to be there as soon as it opens in about 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
But we'll still be featuring this programme in this garden as well.
Yes, because we've got to show the changing of the seasons and the jobs that have to be done in between times, whilst we're still looking at what other people are doing,
But it's an exciting year for us, isn't it?
Yes, but we've a lot to do in this programme, haven't we? Because we're going to have a wee look back at all the things that have happened, so we better crack on.
Thank you.
On you go. Yes, 10 years, in fact. The transmission date this year is only 4 days adrift from that very first programme in 1978. And much has changed since then. The character of the garden has changed, the presenters have changed, and all the rest of it. And in our archive film, we've been able to discover one or two bits and pieces of these very early days, and some of us have changed a wee bit in shape since then, but you know, with the passage of time and all that, these kind of things tend to happen. Let's have a wee look at some of the shots from the very, very early days of Beechgrove. Hello and welcome to the Beechgrove Garden in Aberdeen. Situated behind Broadcasting House in the centre of the city, we have a semi-detached garden. And you can see the builders have just left, and look at the rubbish and mess that we have to contend with. Over the next 12 months, George Barron and I will hope to transform this garden into a productive unit and a decorative unit. It's very different, George, from what you normally do at Pitmedden, the great garden there.
Yes, it is, Jim. There's a big difference between 3 acres of a very nice tidy garden and coming into this place covered with stones and bricks and tins and what have you.
That's right, and it's different for me too, because as a horticultural advisor, I'm generally dealing with commercial problems and gardening on the grand scale too, in a different sense of the word.
But of course, Jim, too, you'll need to remember, a lot of these young couples going into new houses, this is the type of place they're going to get.
That's right.
Left behind the builders.
And we both have domestic back gardens, and we hope to bring the expertise that we've gained there into this situation and make it look a little bit better.
That's right.
Now you're going to carry on with the good work, George,
I'll carry on
fill up the barra.
And get the rubbish in.
It's important to assess all the parts of the garden and all the features in the garden. And the first thing we've got to think about is the aspect, the geographic aspect. On the north side of our boundary, we have a 3 to 4 foot stone wall and a line of trees, a drop of 7 feet down to the road outside. In the northeast corner, an electricity substation, pinching a bit of our ground, but they've got to be put somewhere, haven't they? Around on the east side, we have a garden wall, and behind that, a high wall of a church hall. It'll come in our advantage because it'll protect us from these searing east winds that we suffer sometimes in the northeast of Scotland. During the period since the recording was made, George has been extremely busy clearing up the site after the tree was removed, filling in the hole, taking out the scrub and these old shrubs, and then starting to double dig. And in the course of his cultivations, he's come across the most enormous slabs of stone and concrete and brick. Quite incredible it's been. George, how much would you say that you've taken out of that site?
Well, I reckon I've taken out about 40 or 50 tons, Jim. 10 lorry loads, you know.
Gracious, you didn't shift all that yourself.
Oh no, we had to hire in a big excavator and a lorry.
Aye.
The excavator took out all the stuff out of the bottom, loaded the lorry, and the lorry drove the whole lot away.
So you see, we've had our problems, and we would sincerely hope that you won't have anything quite so bad as that. In fact, this was a bit extreme. But then the weather's been extreme too, and in the recent week we've been held up because of the problems. And it's a timely reminder that we can't afford to be keeping up with the Joneses, or should I say, the Seabrooks. But during some of these dead spells in the garden, we've been busy indoors working on our plan. And if you remember, the house is here, and we have a decorative area near the house, lawn, shrub borders, greenhouse, and so on. And vegetables, George?
Yes, we'll have 3 rotational vegetable plots up there, Jim.
And room for some fruit?
Around the sides we'll have some fruit.
Now, we had the plan, and we had everything all set out, and it's time now that we had a wee word with my partner in crime at that time, George Barron.
Well,
how are you, George?
Fine, thanks. How's
You
yourself?
never really change very much.
Oh, never, no. I get younger every day, don't I?
Are you still working away?
Oh, yes. I get a little jobby to do, you know. It wouldn't do if you stopped altogether, Jim.
No, I can't imagine you twiddling your thumbs.
Oh, no.
Well, we're standing on a fine lawn here. We've just cut it, and
Yes.
things are looking quite mature. But when we did start, of course,
Well,
you were also doubling as head gardener.
Of course. And I remember levelling up this soil and sowing this the same day as the producer and his assistant was doing the greenhouse, building that greenhouse.
Well, the point, of course, about that was that so many people get the instructions for putting up a greenhouse,
Yes.
and it says any 2 guys can
I know,
put this up. you
I know.
see. So they got in a bit of a
There was
fangle.
some coming for there.
It's not so easy when you come to put one of these greenhouses
No,
up,
it's
is
not
it? But it's quite interesting. We started in the in the spring of the year, planting out the rock garden, for
Yep.
example.
Aye.
That over a season, you begin to see how it actually matures.
Oh, yes, you do that.
No, I'm not weeding. I'm actually sizing up some of the little border plants to see if we can get some cuttings off them, because this is a good time of year to do so. But whilst we have a view of the border, we can look at the way the plants are beginning to settle down. After only 3 or 4 months, they're already spreading, covering the ground, and the little conifers are putting on some fresh growth and popping up, making it look quite attractive. And of course, George, this is it, 10 years on.
Aye, I know.
And
but I think we did replant it, remember, didn't we?
yes,
A year or two ago.
well, there was this end of it was replanted with the alpine stuff.
Yes.
But the little conifers and the more permanent things
They
were
were
retained.
just left.
In terms of memories, George, you must have seen too a difference from when we started with the equipment that the boys are using today.
Oh, definitely.
Do you remember the old cameras?
Aye, in fact, I didn't know these cameras nowadays.
The first cameras that we used, there was a wee rumour went around at that time that they were the first ever colour cameras that the BBC boxed.
Could it be? Because I remember some of them sat in seats away up.
They
Remember
were,
that?
but they were huge.
Aye.
And every camera had 2 massive cables,
Yes.
and they had to be dragged round all
Oh,
over.
I know.
Now we've got these lightweight things
Aye.
with a wee single, almost a 3/4 inch
I
single
know.
cable.
That's really why we had to put in all these posts, remember, round the beds, Jim,
Yes,
for these
indeed.
big cables.
Unfairly wide paths.
Aye, that's right.
But we used to always say, even if we'd had the paths a mile wide, they'd still put the fit in the bed, wouldn't they?
Oh, I remember that.
But it's interesting to think about how much does go on behind the scenes.
Oh, well, that's it. You see, we don't see a
There's
lot.
us 2 standing here newsing,
Aye.
and there's about a dozen of their folk beavering away there
No,
like
that's
mad,
it.
aren't they?
They are doing their own job,
And there's only half of them visible.
and the other half's inside.
Yes,
They are doing their jobs too, you see.
Directors and vision mixers and sound engineers and all the rest of it, but this is the modern technology.
Oh, yes. The cameraman and
Why,
his
the camera, no,
nice
Alistair.
lightweight camera.
How do you enjoy working with this thing?
Oh, it's far greater because it's lightweight technology. It's go anywhere technology, Jim.
Yes, much swifter and a lot
Yes.
easier, eh?
Far easier than the old ones.
Aye, aye. George, whilst we've got this far, do you not think we should have a wee look at the vine and the peach?
I think we're better, Jim.
Let's go.
See how it's doing.
Well, the old peach trees come on quite well, George.
Thank goodness, there's a lot of peaches in it.
Eh?
See, when you look up here, look at that.
We'll be starting to thin them, obviously. I mean, they're,
Yes.
they're not quite that size yet, but she's not looking too bad.
Oh, it's looking well. Had you a lot
Unfortunately,
of peaches in it last year? Now?
yes, it's regularly doing about 60 or 70 peaches
Oh, well,
now.
that's good.
Changed days though.
Oh, I changed days. I mind when we planted it was just a thing like a week. In the corner, of course, we've last winter. And it has got a wee setback, of course, with the moving. And there are half a dozen peaches on it. There's actually 4 of them, leaving 2 plus these 2 at the sides there. 4 peaches, I think, will be quite sufficient this year because we really wanted to make plenty of growth. And again, a bit of feeding when the time comes, plenty of spraying because peaches generally are bad for red spider also. So we'll keep it pretty well spread during the summer months.
Come and have a look at this tatty barrel, you greenhouse flower, you.
Yes, boss.
Prospects are a lot better this year, aren't
Yes,
they?
looking much brighter like.
Although there's one of the tubers has been a bit slow to sprout, they're a bit lower than the rest.
Yes, but it'll come. I think it'll probably come away later on.
And we've started top dressing already.
Yes.
You've got drainage this
We've
time.
put in drainage this year because last year it went very dry.
And it certainly won't swell tubers when it's dry.
Right enough.
Nice wee
So-
progress report. I'll take a bet with you later on how much we're going to get.
Okay, grand thing for the figure, these new tatties. Especially your type of figure.
Now then, that's not very fair. We never quite cracked that tatty barrel thing, did we?
Not really. But I mind you on damn 14-pound weight did you stick in a mine? Couldn't do it.
It's true. No, I mean, this was an area that we developed quite late on.
Yes, it was.
And herbaceous and the heather beds.
And of course this was just ordinary grass. I remember when I was here first, there was a chap come in once a month and mowed this. Remember?
Yes, so it was very rough.
That's the original grass.
It just shows that over to you can bring a piece of grass up to reasonable standard.
That's right. Just be constant attention.
The other thing that is rather the same, in fact, is this business of the vegetable plots.
Oh, aye.
People often write to us and say, oh, it's easy for you boys because the grass is so... the ground. The soil is so easy to work. Wouldn't you like that, was it?
Oh, no. Even here, you see, the ground was pretty poor the first year or two until we got it cultivated regularly and manured and so on.
And by manuring you were meaning putting in a lot of dung?
Dung and...
compost?
Yes, and sand, rough sand. We've put on quite a bit of rough sand.
Leaf mould, just anything that would open it up?
Any organic sort of material.
Yes. People don't realise that you can take a big layer of soil, you can dig it out with a digger, and you could lay it onto the ground and spread it out. It's still the same as it was before.
No, it'll still take a year or two to develop properly.
That's a stage when everything is instant and ready, but that's one thing you've got to wait for, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's right enough, you see. That's the thing. When I come right in 1 year,
No.
it needs a few years.
It just